Hey, what's up, guys? This is KSHMR. Welcome to my live stream. We're here today to talk about my new plugin that just came out, which is very exciting, called KSHMR Essentials. And also, I want to field questions from you guys. If you guys have questions about production, I'm happy to lend my knowledge and do what I can. So, welcome, everybody. What's up? What's up? Yo, got Music Martell is in the house. Splice is, of course, in the house. Big shout out to Splice. We've been good partners for a long time, and I think they've revolutionized the way that we make music. So nothing but respect for Splice. And thanks to the What About production guys who helped make this plugin. It was a long time coming. It took a year and a half, but we finally did it. Hello from Russia. What's up, Russia? Broken Boy Music. Thought I said Broke Boy Music, which is relatable. Millionaire music producer, owns camera from the 80s. No, I'm at a rental Airbnb and the Wi-Fi is really not good. I managed to find the Airbnb that has a studio in it, if you will believe it, which is pretty incredible. Turkey is in the house. I love Turkey. I love all you guys cats. Champ, hello from Berkeley. What's up? We got Berkeley in the house. I'm from Berkeley, California, for those who don't know. Oregon's in the house. What kind of Airbnb is that? I know. Los Angeles has crazy Airbnbs. Somebody else is from Berkeley, but they didn't spell it right. Maybe a different Berkeley. Boston. Baston's in the house. Sacktown holding it down. Berkeley Pride, Champ. Yeah, man. Berkeley Pride for sure. Ireland. Wow, man. Italy. Italy's got it really bad right now, from what I understand. I got some good friends in Italy. Invitation or robbery. Yeah, I didn't tell you where it is. Don't get your hopes up. Norway's in the house. Sweden's in the house. Will there be mastering tutorials on Dharma Worldwide? Yeah, definitely. We're going to try to cover everything over there. Love you, Kashmir. I love you too. Hi from Germany. What's up, Germany? Mexico. Saludos a Mexico. India's in the house. India Log. Kahahe. Brazil. Rio. Is the plugin genre specific? I personally focus on hip hop. No, the plugin is really useful for the main categories of instruments that people use. So it works really well on synths, on drums, kicks, bass, and vocals. So these are elements that you'll find in hip hop. These are elements that you'll find in dance music and pop music. It's really a versatile plugin. They're seeing my computer also screen or no? Okay, that's good because I'm like looking at myself. So view here. Greetings from Germany. Namaste, namaskar. Que se ho naos baya. India garme baya. India's in the house for sure. The plugin comes with all the modules. Yeah, that's right. The plugin comes with all the modules. I'm going to jump into the plugin and I'm going to show you guys the plugin. But I just was wondering if you guys had any questions for me, and you're asking some good ones. So just keep them coming. Keep the questions coming, and then we'll jump into the plugin. Are you going to make a track too? Yeah, we can sit here and make a track. Yeah, that's no problem. I'll show you some examples, and then maybe we can make something from scratch. Mixing with this plugin right now. This guy's mixing with the plugin right now. That's amazing, man. Nothing makes me happier than, putting out the packs and seeing people make songs with the packs. And now with this plugin to see what you guys do. That would be awesome. What do you do when you're frustrated on your mix session? Probably more relevant when starting out in your bedroom studio. I still mostly work in a bedroom studio at my house. This is a nicer studio, but generally I'm in my bedroom. And I think testing it on different sources is really important. Having a good pair of headphones. Something about rooms is that they can build up frequencies, just random frequencies, low-end frequencies. And if you listen on headphones, you get a very objective perspective on your song. and you also can get a good stereo image. Getting a good stereo image with the positioning of the speakers can be difficult, but with headphones, it's always very clear, very obvious. Hey Kashmir, nice work. However, why is it rent to own only? So coming up with the price for this plugin was a little bit difficult. I always like to keep things at a price that will be accessible for most people, so I don't gate anybody out from being able to buy it. Most important thing with the packs also were that everybody could use it. So finding a price that made sense where the developers could make decent money and Splice could, everyone could make the kind of money that they deserve for all the effort that went into this plugin. That felt like about $100, but I also felt that if we did rent to own, we could get it in the hands of everybody. And I really believe in the quality of it. So of course the thing is with rent to own, if you only like it for a month or two, you don't have to keep using it. And that's totally fine. But I think you guys are really going to like it. So I'm basically making a bet that you guys are going to enjoy it and keep using it. And so I don't think you'll just pay $5 and be out. So if you do, though, that's your prerogative. But I guess what I'm trying to say is I really believe in the quality of this plugin. So with the rent to own, it lets you get into it for only $5. Actually, it's free. The trial is free. But after that, it's $5, and you can decide for yourself if you want to keep using it. Oh my God, the Final Fantasy VII Remake is out tomorrow, and it's all I've been thinking about for like the last 2 years. So I'm very excited, and it's kind of surreal. I've watched some of the non-spoiler reviews, but yeah, the hype is very real over here. Tomorrow I'm going to download it. As you can see, my Wi-Fi is not the best, but I'll spend all day downloading. I don't care. Rent to own, you got to keep the Splice app open. Yeah, don't point your fingers at me. I like the Splice app. I always have it open, but you got to take that one up with a good friend Splice. Yeah, I do think rent to own is just brilliant. I think a big problem with plugins is how much money they cost, and young producers just can't afford it, and they'll probably end up pirating it. So with rent to own, a young producer can actually legitimately get his hands on a real copy of a really professional plugins like Ozone, and KSHMR Essentials is not quite on the level of Ozone. It's just a great plugin that gets you results fast. And so I think it kind of falls into a category. I would never want to compare it to FabFilter stuff, Ozone stuff, but it's really, really useful and effective, I guess is how I'd put it. Can you touch on how underground artists can take advantage of the platform and get our own sample packs on the site? I'm not really sure what the process is for getting your sample packs on the site. If you send it to the Splice guys, they're really like a family of just hardworking people. I think they'll probably give it a listen. It's really inspiring actually visiting the Splice offices. It's a bunch of really smart people who just try to figure out what producers need and how to improve the workflow of producers. So send it, and I think they'll listen. Yeah, working on a new sample pack. Volume 3 was such an exhaustive endeavor that it was hard for me to imagine ever making another sample pack. But one aspect of it I did really enjoy was all the time in the studio with musicians recording stuff, and I spent 2 weeks on it last time, and if I could spend even more of the time in the studio with musicians, I think it would be fun, and I think I might actually look forward to it. And with this coronavirus, it actually does afford me a lot of time to get back in the studio and work on Volume 4. So I might do it. Volume 3 was just so damn big, Anyway, when is the new Dharma Lessons of KSHMR for Pros coming out? I've actually already recorded them, and they should be coming out soon, and we're going to record more. I think I did some good ones. I did ones about melody and breaking down really catchy melodies and why they're catchy. I did one about all the favorite plugins that I have that I use. So there's some good ones coming. Broke It Down is my next single, and it comes out soon. We shot a music video in Mexico. That's a different kind of song for me. I hope you guys will enjoy it. Are you going to do a master class anytime soon? Well, I do classes on the Dharma site. A master class like on the master class website, couldn't tell you. I don't think so. New album like The Line Across the Field. Yes, it is actually going to be much bigger than The Line Across the Field. I'm at about 15 or 16 songs right now. It's all I've been working on, and I think it's made music fun for me again. It took me out of the whole making singles over and over again paradigm, and it shifted me into a more experimental mood and just really having fun with each song and trying to tell a different story and put you in a different world with each song. And The Line Across the Field was really focused on the jungle, I would say. Obviously, that's the theme of the story. But in this case, it takes you to all different kinds of places. The last one I was working on takes you to some crazy carnival sort of thing, and that was really fun. I was really inspired by Mr. Kite, for the benefit of Mr. Kite, the Beatles song from Sgt. Pepper's. That song is just really experimental, lot to be inspired by. KSHMR, what do you think is the current or next style for dance music, other than the '90s reverb synth trend? In your opinion, what do you think is cool? I do like the synthwave stuff, if that's what you're referring to, or are you talking about the really simple, kind of geeky sounding European sort of one? Yeah, that sound is cool too. We sort of did that with Alone, the track I did with Marnik. But what I like synthwave, and I think anything but Big Room right now. Big Room's not been terribly inspiring for me, although I've done some of it. But just really anything more mid-tempo has been fun to listen to and fun to make. 90s porno music is love. Funky. A lot of slap bass. Think you should make cinematic score trailer samples. I use your samples for movie trailer stuff. That's so cool that you do movie trailer stuff. Yeah, I'm trying to get more into that, actually, to do some scoring. And I have a friend named Daniel Stockdale who has helped me to score the animated stories that take place in my show. And with Daniel, I've begun scoring a project that's our own. We're a duo, and I'm really excited to reveal what that sounds like. I've been listening to Harder all night long for over 60 days now. Now is How Can I Stop? Harder, really. That's funny, you know. I never considered that was a really popular one, but I do love that song. That's funny. It's a good one. That song's really close to my heart. I really love that song. Lights Go Down. Yeah, Lights Go Down is coming. I guess I could like just sneak peek some music for everybody. Yeah, you let me know if the volume's okay. Oh yeah, so this would look at. Oh wait, no, I don't want. Maybe not everyone should see all that.
Whenever you want. But are you playing anything?
No, I'm not playing anything yet. Give me a second.
You good?
Let me know if this volume is working.
My old friend, remember when we chased the wind, young and innocent. We made our plan to drift to.
Oh, sorry. You know what? I'm gonna change this to. Here we go.
That might have been why it started lagging or something.
You think so?
Something changed since the text.
Here, this should work. Is that better? Nothing.
Remember when we chased the
Yeah, so this is Lights Go Down.
Devils on eyes, you and me till the break of dawn. We go down to this God-forsaken town. We come together when the lights go down. Always up for another.
Previewing some new music right now.
We come together when the lights go down. We come together when the lights go down. We come together when the lights go down.
So yeah, I got a little. Okay, so I've done a couple big room things, and you know, big room is fun. Big room's still fun. Finally, I'm back in my old style. You know, people say that. I'm not sure. When did I leave my old style? I feel like I've always done bangers, sort of intersplice with the other stuff. But anyway, hey Kashmir, you interested in possibly scoring? Yeah, definitely possibly scoring. Yeah, for sure. All right, guys. So maybe we should move into the plugin.
Switching over.
Okay, so switching over. And let me get audio hijack going through. Can I just say all system audio? Can I replace that? Delete this block. Let me know if is this playing for you? Should be. Yeah. Yeah. Seems good. So guys, so this is a plugin, KSHMR Essentials. It's available on Splice, rent to own. So it's a free trial. You can get it free right now, and it's really useful. What I've done is basically, with the help of the What About Production guys, I've put all of the effects I use on a given instrument. In this case, it's a kick, and I put them in one place for you. So effectively, it takes the power of 10 plugins and puts them in one place. And it has features that I think are really important. It has the waveform that you can see. I'm always a really big fan of being able to see the waveform. That lets me know what I'm hearing. If you have an effect that is making the transient much louder, it's not represented in the DAW. You don't see it on the sequence because it's happening in the effect, in the VST. But this lets you see the output, and as you can see, we've got this huge transient, and that's because the kick has been set to turn the transient up. Let's turn everything down at first, and let's see what we started with. So this is a kick that I think is sort of boring. And I know that the key is E, right? So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to select E as my key. And then it's going to focus on the sub frequency associated with the note E. And then I turn that up. So we're getting a lot more boom out of it, a lot more sub. We can turn the air up. That's going to help the transient as well. That's going to be the air frequency. So... and then we're going to turn the transient up. You see, we got a nice clicky transient. If you make progressive house music, dance music, you love a good transient. This gives you a great one. Tape saturation, be careful. This introduces distortion, but a little bit's not bad. Pressure is multi-band compression, and you should be careful using that on drums. Like any multi-band compressor, it starts to do some weird things with your low end. So really you want to reserve this for things like hardstyle kicks, where you want to bring out some of the character, the tonality of it. For this kick, don't think it really needs it. Turn the mids up. Sure, compression, why not? Let's turn the sub up even more. So we got that from this. The mids will make it a little more boxy. It starts here at a medium value. You turn up a little bit. And if you compare, you go all the way down. If you ask me, this is a lot more boring compared to that. Now, another thing you'll notice at the bottom is these guys, they give you only the left signal, only the right signal. So let's say you had a snare, and this does come up. Let's see here. We'll find a snare that has some width to it, right? Like this. Yeah, just copy over. And if you just reduce the width of it, it'll try to combine these two sides, which may not correlate in their phase. But if you just take the left or right signal, you get a much nicer... Here, turn all this stuff down. You can select the side that gives you the sound that you want. So now it's mono. And I think the left side is a little more bright. So maybe I would choose the left side. And now you've got a snare that's perfectly in the middle. And I can't stress to you guys enough as you keep going with your mixing to really make some things mono and decide that some things are going to be right in the middle. When things are on the really wide, it just becomes difficult to mix a group of instruments that are also very wide. So you need to start making decisions about putting things in the middle. And anyway, that allows you to do that a little bit, to select a side and keep it centered. So anyway, that is for kicks. I can pull up a different project that's going to be, yeah, anything you need. Okay. I'll pull up a different project. Let's take a look at drums. Oh, whoops, I forgot to collect all and save on this thing. Yeah, let me see, where does it think it is? Yeah, you can switch back to me. It says samples offline. You know what? I bet. What's that? Crack. Missing media file. Anyway, we could. Here, I'll just take some drums that I have from something. Yeah, you could switch back to me, sure. I just gotta find some drums to work on. Yeah, we can make some drums. Fuck it.
I'm going back to your dog.
Okay. So I took this from my other computer and forgot to collect all and save. Here. Drum rack. So just find some kick. Okay, now we're gonna find the hi-hat. Let's get an open hi-hat as well. Okay, and then we just want some kind of clap. I always like a good pre-shifted clap. Yeah, that one's nice. So, let's put that there. And put this here. Now we're just going to make a quick little beat. Right? And then on the bus, we're going to group this and we'll put KSHMR Essentials on the bus. And we'll add a little loop. And I want to show you one specific parameter. It's called details, which is really cool in the plugin that brings up the quieter things. It introduces a parallel squash signal, and you can raise that up to taste. So things that are a little bit quieter in your drum bus will sort of get brought out in the spaces where the dynamics are available, where there's more space. So maybe a little shaker loop. Something like this. So we're going to turn some of the things down intentionally. I'll take some of the hi-hats down, some of the shakers down. And when you look at drums, see how it starts bringing everything out? And that's why I like the name details, because you can have subtlety. Not everything needs to be loud, but details will start bringing it up in the spaces that are available. So you can get a nice sort of swelling. And you put a little reverb on it, you can get just a little tiny bit. You'll see that details really starts bringing up the reverb as well. So this is normal. Oh yeah, sorry. That's normal, and then as we bring details up, you just get more of all of the little details, the things that were quiet before. So let's try some of the other parameters. Okay. Like the transient. You guys all know what transient does. Width is going to introduce more width. It's not just stereo imaging. We did an interesting effect where the left side and the right side are processed a little bit differently. It says the camera is capturing audio from the monitors.
Right, because the mic is picking up the speakers. There's phasing.
Oh. Okay, do you want me to just have it play through the mic then?
Yeah.
I can do that. If it's better, I'll just have the music. Here, I'll just turn this off. Let me know if this is better. Yeah, or I could use headphones too. Much better? Okay, they say it's much better. So now I can turn it up loud. Yeah, that sounds okay. I hope you'll be able to get like the difference in EQ and stuff that's happening. Yeah, through the mic you might not hear the details. That's true. You know what? Let's send it back, and I'm just going to put headphones on. So, output device. Select. Matt Magewell. Okay, I'm just going to put headphones on. Oh, I'm all wrapped up here. I'm a rapper. Little known fact, KSHMR used to be a rapper. Alright, let me know how this is, guys. Oops. This guy said, what else can you sell me? Hey man, I just made this plugin. It took us 1.5 years to make. I'm just trying to show you the value that I think is in it. What did you come here for? I'm here to talk about this plugin we just made. That's funny. How is this, guys? Does this sound better? Does that seem better? Sound is way better. Okay, good. So check it out. We'll try some width. We can start out making this a little less stereo. And that's getting wider, specifically in the mids and the high frequencies, and it's processing the left and the right side a little bit differently. And glue is glue compression. So maybe we've overdone it a little bit, but if you take a listen to what it was before, here we go. That. Compared to that. Probably we've overdone it, you know, you don't want to max everything out all the time, but I do think that sounds a lot more lively. A lot more lively, I think. This is, yeah, you asked what channel is it on? This is on the group. So this is on all the drums that you're hearing. Yeah, thank you. The left, right, mid-side options, I use a Voxengo's M-Set all the time to focus just on the sides or the mids. And I thought, why not add that functionality here to this one? So anyway, yeah, that was the story behind that. Let's take a look at synths. I'll pull up this song starter. There's these are great. There's one I always like to use. It makes the plugin look really effective. I forget which one it is, but anyway, we'll use it on anything. It's fine. Actually, you know, here. Just go into yeah, I did make a project, and assuming this should be all synth based, so it shouldn't be missing anything. Use it on bass, 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 bass. Okay, yeah, we'll check out bass next. Let me just try to load up synths. Retro SS 105B. Okay, Retro SS 105B. Let's see if I have that. Do I have anything like that? Man, I'm disorganized. All right, let's just take a look at anything. All right, so we'll pull this one up. Ooh, that's loud, huh? So here, if we let's take off KSHMR Essentials. God, how arrogant. Everything is KSHMR, KSHMR, KSHMR. Branding, everybody. Put your name on everything all the time. So this already sounds pretty good, but let's see what happens when we add it. Now take the mix down. So as you can see, we've got a few things going on here. Body starts in the middle, and it allows you to add some mids, some warmth, or take it away. The next one is presence. Presence is an EQ curve. That's not just the high frequencies, but gives it sort of a high mid curve that I think will make it stick out without giving you just a bunch of hiss. Air does give you the hiss if that's what you want. Exciting is saturation. So this is a form of distortion that is called saturation. I honestly, I can't even tell you the difference between all these things, but saturates the mids and the highs, and that also gives you more sizzle. Details is that thing we talked about earlier where you introduce this parallel signal that's slammed with the compressor. So in this case, because the notes never stop, you might not hear details doing that much. But we'll take a look at a different synth that has space between the notes, and you can hear that details does a lot in those space. Is there an option to just buy this once rather than rent to own? Not right now. I really feel strongly about the rent to own system because it just makes it, well, I think to focus on rent to own it first is important to make it simple. In time, though, it's definitely could be a thing. Okay, so here we go. Synths. And it can be useful to hear just what the sides are doing. And it can be useful to see if your sound is lost completely in the mids. So as you can see, as we did expansion, we did lose some of the mids. That's a give and take. It's okay for some things to be on the side. That's just a fact of life. I'm not one of those guys who believes in mixing in mono the whole time. Maybe I should. But yeah, you want to check to make sure something is in the middle. Often it's going to be your drums. That can be, drums. It can be a lead to make sure one lead is right in the middle. It will make it feel like it's not as far away. So I offer these buttons to just help you keep tabs on your mix and know what's going on the sides and the mids. So here's a supersaw group, and I've got some reverb going on, and we're gonna take a listen without So this, the plugin replaced Endless Smile. Not really. That I'm not sure if that's accurate. Endless Smile is an effect that make build-ups from the Data Life guys, which is an incredible plugin. But I wouldn't compare it to that. This is really for mixing and making sounds a little bit brighter and bigger. Anyway. So here we have KSHMR Essentials is on there. And let's turn down the reverb a little bit. And I want to show you guys, as we bring in each parameter, how it's going to bring the reverb up and bring in all the details. So here, check it out. So it's creating like a ducking effect with the reverb. So here's how it was before. And here's it with details. It makes a big difference. So you're not losing any of the clarity of the main signal of the synth. You're only getting additional signal in the gaps. So it's bringing in everything that was lower in volume in the gaps. I know I keep saying it, but it's really just such a useful tool to make sure that the synth itself is not being clouded, but that you are filling up the space in between. So it's just really effective. So another thing I do quite often is multiband compression. Another button here is the auto gain. So that is a volume, a makeup volume decrease that we've added so that things just don't get loud as you keep adding these. If we turn that off, they'll sound like this. Just gets, louder. And if you want a really apples to apples comparison, meaning you want to really see what it's doing and not just think it's better because it got louder, which is a trick that gets played on our ears, you want to use the auto gain. And that will try to keep it consistent. It helps for comparing if you want the effect really or not. Where in the signal chain does a plugin fit best? So in this case, I have it going after the reverb, and it's going after whatever effects I already have on Nexus here. I've got some EQ going on. So, you can decide for yourself, but I think you get some really interesting effects when you put the plugin after reverb. Am I already doing sidechain on the reverb? Yes, I am. But I think you get the effect still without it. So here that is. I just out of habit generally put a compressor after the reverb. But that's not what's doing the effect. I promise. It's the plugin, as you can hear. So if you notice when you add glue, some of the peaks get taken care of. It just keeps, that might be the clipper at work as well, actually, now that I think about it. Yeah, the clipper is nice too. You can, if you want to, I haven't really tried it, but you could jam in the in value, and then the out will turn down, and then just put the clipper on. And if you want to squash your signal even further, then you can do that. Okay, so anyway, so that's synths. I think that's oh yeah, here's a sax. One thing I wanted to point out is that even though it's called synths, you could really use this on anything. So here is so this is a saxophone that we recorded for Sounds of KSHMR Volume 3. want, we can add more air and everything. So this, in my opinion, sounds a bit more dry, and this sounds very processed now as we turn it up. So now you've got really beefy, EDM sort of standard kind of processing, I'd say, on that. That compressor and the reverb chain is for a side chain, right? So are you actually compressing the reverb in this case? No, sorry. I'm not compressing the reverb. If you look at what's happening with the reverb is being compressed by the dry signal. So it's taking the signal from one of these synths, and we can monitor that to show you what that sounds like. So that is the key that is causing the sidechain to duck. So yeah, that's what's going on. That's us. That's our sidechain key. And that is a compressor sidechaining after Valhalla. That's what's going on. All right. Compressor and reverb change on sidechain. And he tried to cover a bunch of plug. I think you tried to cover too much with this plugin. Do one thing really well. It's pretty simple. Yeah, okay, whatever. I don't want to get argumentative. This is like 6 of my favorite plugins in one. Thank you. That's the idea. I said in our promotional stuff, 10 plugins, maybe 6 is fair. Me and my friend argued. Anthony said, "Is it really 10?" He kind of questioned me in my statement. He wondered if there was if I was just making stuff up. Okay, so let's take a look at vocals. Shit. Again, I'll probably be here. You know what? If Kara doesn't hate me, I can pull up something that I recorded with Kara recently. Hopefully she won't hold this against me. All right. Let's see. Go here. Wow, you guys are taking a look at all of the songs that are going into this EP, or I've thought about going into this EP. That's this whole folder with a bunch of random names that don't read too much into the random names. Let's see. Lecture Cope. Right? And then vocals. And let's see. Okay, let's do. Where's our chorus? Oh, just okay. So that's going to be in Niles' edit. Yes. All right, dry. So.
Can you feel what you can see?
Is it being? Yeah. Okay. Is there? Okay. Here's the lead of the verse. Yeah. This will be a little better.
We were all aligned.
Okay, let's actually take something dry. I realize that these already have processing. Let's see. Chorus good. That sounds promising.
Can you feel what you can't see but know is real?
She'd hate me for that one. That's a little pitchy.
Can you feel what you can't see but know is real?
That's the note we were looking for. Okay, great. So we're gonna put this on. We're gonna set the vocals. And by the way, guys, if you're a producer out there, I cannot stress how much it really shaped my career working with vocalists. Dev was the first one. I made that song Like a G6 with Dev, and she was an artist that I sort of took under my wing and produced all her music. And I learned so much about producing by working with Dev. And I learned how I would want to do it if I made a project myself by creating a project for somebody else. I think when we're making music for ourselves, we often want it to encapsulate too much. We think of ourselves as too complex. But when you work with another artist, you can put them on a limited canvas and think what would work for them. What would the branding be? What would the direction be that would really work for them? And you can think much more simply. We can really get in our own heads and think too much when we're making our own music. So I encourage you guys, if you can, to try to find the vocalist and work with the vocalist for a while to get your chops up. You can learn so much that way. Try to take on a vocalist and just do 4 or 5 songs for him and her. It just goes a long way. So anyway, that's my spiel about vocals. Let's take a listen to Kara.
Can you feel what you can't see but know is real? Close your eyes and see the world we left behind.
So as we increase these things,
Can you feel what you can't?
pressure is multiband compression. Compressor is the first stage of compression. I often use multiple stages of compression. So I've included that here. Glue at the end, a compressor there. Body is going to add some warmth.
Can you feel what you can't see but know is real? Can you feel? Can you feel?
So it gives you a little bit of the body back into it.
Can you feel? Can you feel?
And if you add spread, damn, I messed up. I think I took a vocal that sounds too good already. I think this had some processing on it too. Man, is there anything that was really dry that I've done here? Whatever. You'll still get the idea. But this was recorded on a really good mic, going through a processing chain already, Manly Voxbox. But you'll get the idea. And spread is going to add basically a chorus effect to give you some width to the vocal.
Can you feel what you can't see but know is real?
So that'll thicken your vocal up a little bit. I like to use just a little bit of that.
Can you feel what you can't see but know is real?
So it'll give some width to a vocal which is recorded obviously in mono.
The fire.
These are more dry. Let's see here.
I could lie.
This is nice. And she'll have to forgive me too for this. But let's drag this over here. And let's see how it works on a vocal that's actually really dry. So if I take it off, this is what we're working on.
I could lie here a million lives till we turn into ash and stone. Take us up to the highest highs. I
Got the loop on. Okay, so you guys get the idea. This is very dry vocal with a lot of dynamics. Sometimes it gets really quiet.
us up.
Are vocals always recorded in mono? Yes, pretty much. Unless you're recording a choir or a group of people, mono vocals is a standard way. When like this microphone I'm using is mono. If any good microphone generally for recording vocals is mono. But if you were to do like a tree mic for recording an orchestra or recording a choir, that's a whole process of its own. If you're recording drums, maybe you would use a stereo mic. Not super familiar, but I was working on a contact library that would be like chants, vocal chants. So we did. I don't know if each microphone actually was ever stereo, but we ended up recording it with several microphones. Anyway, that's a tangent. So check out the vocal and see how it improves.
I could lie here a million lives till we turn into ash and stone. Take us up to the highest highs. I could make this my ritual. 'Cause when the flame's burning higher, your holy water from my soul.
So now we've compressed it a lot, and if you take a look at the dry signal,
I could lie here a million lives till we turn into.
now obviously that's just quieter, so I'm going to try to auto gain it.
I
Here.
could lie here a million lives till we turn into ash and stone. Take us up to the highest heights. I could.
So now we've got a much thicker vocal, and it sounds like it would be ready for a record, honestly.
I could lie here a million lives.
Now let's see if I actually have the guitar so you could hear this in context. Am I talking too much, or her lyrics suck? I thought these were great lyrics. Jeez, you guys are rough. Got some rough, hard to please these guys. Let's see. Do I have those ones installed on this computer? I may not. Should have just used my old computer that had a. Well, no, maybe it's okay. These ones okay? Let's see. No, can't deactivate that one. Well, ample guitar. Ample guitar has not been very nice to me in terms of working well on this computer. I love ample guitar, but... Oh, it's nice today. That's good. Here we go. Alright, check it out in contact. I think this should work.
I could lie here a million lives.
Sounds like a different key now, doesn't it? Yeah.
Lie here a million lives till we turn into ash and stone. Take us up to the highest heights. I could make this my ritual. Lie here.
Huh? Oh, it did. Oh, sorry. I naturally just hit that button.
Lie here a million lives.
So this is the vocal, which is a really pretty vocal. I don't know what that guy's talking about. And this doesn't even have pitch correction, which is really just a really beautifully sung vocal.
Lie here a million lives till we turn into ash and stone.
So this is dry.
Lie here a million lives till we turn into
And this is as we apply the plugin.
Take us up to the highest heights. I could make this my ritual. I could lie here a million lives till we turn into ash and stone.
You give a little whip.
Take us up to the highest heights. I could make this my ritual.
And if you put it after the reverb, it'll probably bring up the reverb as well with all that
Lie
compression.
here a million lives till we turn into ash and stone.
I mean, guys, to be honest, this pretty much puts all of the plugins that I would use in a vocal chain in one place. So all the stuff that I've traditionally used from Waves and UAD, it's not saying that you should give those up. Those are all great plugins. Those are guys who have mastered compression, mastered EQ, but to give you a really good approximation of all of them in one place, I think we've done a really fantastic job. Like this to me sounds like processing on the vocal, a vocal that's already ready to go pretty much.
Lie here a million lives till we turn into ash and stone. Take
And this was before.
lie here a million lives till we turn into ash and stone. Take us up to the highest heights. I could make this my ritual.
Oh, cool. This guy said to use a plugin before the vocal and add another instance after the vocal. That's awesome. I didn't even think to do that. Of course, you know, you can do all kinds of stuff. You could take this, you could add it after, and you could do an effect that you would normally do on drums or something on it. You could add the details. Let's say we want the reverb to come up really crazy.
Lie here a million lives till we turn into ash and stone. Take us up to the highest heights. I could make this my ritual. I could
So now you see the reverb is like always sort of sucking up. It's a nice effect.
lie here a million lives till we turn it.
If I create some
Lie
space.
here a million lives.
you see the reverb really starts to swell up. Is it CPU heavy? No, I don't think so. Let's take a listen. Or take a look, rather. I've never found it to be CPU heavy. So here we have, I'm at 3%. Let's just go crazy and just start duplicating, right? So on each track of these, we'll have 2 KSHMR Essentials running. I'm just gonna go fucking crazy right now. We're just gonna duplicate these. Duplicate. Any day now. I may have asked too much of Ableton. So okay, so I just made 8 instances with 2 KSHMR plugins each. So that's a total of 16, and we went from 3% to 3%. Didn't change a thing. Maybe we're shifting now between 3 and 4% of the CPU. So that is, yeah, that's pretty good. I would say that's pretty good. It's pretty light. You put 100. Play it, LMFAO. Oh, fuck, your guys' ears are gonna bleed. I have a limiter on at least.
I hear
Oof, ouch.
a million lies.
Anyway.
I hear a million.
Oh, that's true, it wasn't running. Okay, so look, that's fair, that's fair. So look, let's get this,
I hear a million lies.
okay, so we're at about 8-9%.
Take us up to.
Or we're about 10% to be fair. 10%, and when it was just 1, when it's playing,
I hear a million lies.
so we're at about 6%, and some of that's probably ample guitar. So when we have just 1,
I hear a million lies.
we're at about 4%. Okay, playing a vocal, we're at about 4%. If I take it off,
I hear a million.
we're at about 1%. So if you do the math, putting it on 16 times from nothing took us from 1% to about 8 or 9%, I forget. So it does introduce something, but I can't imagine you're going to run into too many problems with that. Not bad. Does it add latency? No. We don't do any linear phase, and yeah, there's no linear phase, and therefore nothing that I think would introduce latency. Sorry. Better than Serum. Yeah, God, I love Serum, but it does give me a lot of problems with that. Okay, you guys wanted to see bass. Let's check out bass. I really love making a super saw in Serum. Just taking a saw and just increasing the voices, spreading it. But even that can be really taxing. Be experimental. Load 10. Well, I loaded 16. Where's your accent from? I need to cop that. Yeah, I don't know. I have a peculiar. Okay, so bass. God, what have I done here? Okay, I have a project that's just missing some things. No biggie. Exhaust. KSHMR. No, wait. That's fine. We're just going to resolve some of this stuff. Sorry, guys. I'm on a new computer. I've switched over. And it's been quite a fucking thing. Because I didn't want to do the migration. I wanted to fresh install everything. And boy, that was harder than I thought it would be. To download every single little shitty plugin I use. Man. Okay, so here, let's see how this sounds. So we're listening to my song Power with Hardwell, obviously. I'm going to turn off the leads so we can just focus. So let's take a listen to this bass, for instance, without anything. And as we turn it up, we can, maybe we should choose a bass that doesn't already have distortion and stuff. So if we turn this down, it's pretty simple. Here we've got, we have some key that needs to be enabled so our sidechain doesn't sound like shit. This. Okay, cool. So we're just going to listen to that with a kick. Why not? I think we're cutting some of the lows. We don't need to do that. So let's turn down the stuff that we have going. In the case of our bass, we can set the root at F. This song is in F. The truth is, you probably want to automate that to match the key of each note in the chord progression. But anyway, for instance, in this, I believe we do a C sharp to C to F to C. Yeah. So you might want to automate it so that it is focusing on the frequency that's playing at any given moment. But we'll just say F for now. Turn down these things, see what that is. And if we turn it on, and if we want, we can do a side cut. So a side cut is a common thing with the bass to just cut out any, oh man, I've done too much. Somebody pointed that out. Oh, the width has gone all the way down. Okay. That was it. Somebody pointed out that the mix was at 100% zero, which is silly. So if we turn the sub, up. Especially if we, let's see, could we put it at C sharp? Let's take the clipper off. Should be F. Okay, we're getting a little bit out of it. The side cut is gonna take away any low frequencies beyond the frequency that you set. So it'll take out any side information below 300 you could do, or 100. If you go up that high, you're now removing all of the sub information that was on the sides before, which is usually what you want to do, is to not have any stereo in your sub. So now you've already cleaned it up a little bit. If you want to distort it further, so that's harmonics. It's like just introducing saturation, some distortion. Yes, you can automate all these parameters. That was important to me. So if you open up Ableton's display, it's configure, it's all the automatable parameters. As you can see, there's a ton of them. Well, there's 8 for each synth, or each instrument. Sorry, I've been talking too long. This is okay. So we've added harmonics. We can add fuzz, distortion. You can do pressure, which again, you want to be careful. Just monitor what that does to your low frequencies. If you have a top bass and a sub under it, then you can really have fun with this. Somebody said no, just the EQ boost. Definitely more than the EQ boost. Let's see the waveform. So that's the waveform before compressor. And the waveform after compressors, you can see, is a lot less volatile in the dynamics. Let's turn it down a little bit. It did get pretty loud. And the exciter. Now this is almost too big now for the kind of bass that it's supposed to be. But if you're working in a project, of course, you'll want to use more moderate settings. But anyway, here's it with our sub. And we can apply this afterwards to cut out the low end. And here's how it was before. And here's how it is after the plugin. Yeah, Ozone's Exciter is a great example. When we were coming up with it, I would use references of plugins that I like to use, and Ozone's was a really big one. Their Exciter and their Imager, I think, are just really, really well done. So there you have it. This is without the plugin. And here's with the plugin. So it's added a lot of sizzle and sort of distortion to this bass. Made it interesting, I think. Now, if you want to take a look at just the sub, I created this little funny trap version of the drop. So, where do you want the leads playing? So this is KSHMR doing trap. Forgive me, I'm not that good. But, so this is a sub that I took that sounded like this. Here we go. So it's a warm, it's a round, very sine wavy kind of sub. And after KSHMR Essentials, let's see, let's feed it in. So now it's got all kinds of air and presence and distortion. Here it is without. Here it is with. So if you hear it in context. As opposed to this. So this is warm and, the sub is there, but now the sub has a lot of presence in the mids. That's without, and this is with. So, yeah, I think, the way this whole thing started was wanting to make even just a one knob plugin that can make stuff sound better, and then it escalated to 4, and then 8, and then 8 for every instrument. So by the end, I think it's a plugin that, for a sub 808 like this, can be effective. For the more big room bass that we had before, it can also be effective on this. There's just enough parameters to be simple, but to be really versatile in what you can apply it to, and with the right twist of a knob, make something sound much better and get something like a processing chain that I would use on an instrument. And while I'm advertising, it is only $5 a month, and it's actually free right now as a trial, so you can get it for free. I think it's a pretty good deal. Are there presets included? Yeah, there are presets, but I don't have them, I think, in my version. Well, okay, I do. So here are some presets. And, to be honest, guys, just start twisting knobs. I mean, there's 8 buttons at any given time. and they only go in one direction. Most of them, some go in two, but I just don't think you need we included presets. I know everybody loves presets, but please just start twisting the knobs, and I think that you're gonna get great results just from that. This guy said, thanks so much. Honestly, between your Dharma tutorials and the Splice packs, you're really giving back to the community. Really appreciate your efforts. 10 out of 10. Guys, thank you. All I do is produce. Unfortunately, it's what I'm best talking about, and it was what I know the most about, and I sort of have tunnel vision. I mean, I've spent my whole life being a producer, so to have now engaged with this community of other producers and to have contributed, it really is so important to me. And when I think about my legacy and what I would ever want to be known for, it's really about having made some contribution to this community and being cared about by this community. That means a lot to me because I care about so much. I care so much about this community. So if there's one thing that I could stand for and wake up and live and breathe every day, it's this. It's making music. So I'm just glad that, I'm glad that I have helped. I've given back in some way. Hey guys, I read an interview with Move saying how much he respects your work ethic. I'm curious how many hours on average you spend in the studio during the quarantine. Well, no shows has been a really great opportunity to work on music, and Anthony, would you say I probably get in here around 2 or something, and
I mean, on the later side.
yeah, so maybe I get in here around 1 or 2 p.m. and I leave around 4 a.m.
I mean, I'd say easy 14 hours.
Yeah, so like 14 hours, and I would love to play you guys some of the stuff that I've been working on, but I don't know, it's probably too early. But I've been working just really on the CP, and I want the CP to just be everything, to just really perfect or accomplish bringing you into the world that each song tries to bring you into, I guess is the best way I could put it. You guys know me, I like to do a lot of like cinematic and instruments and stuff and blend that with EDM. So it's a lot of that, and it's a lot of trying to pick what culture and what story, a given song embodies, and just exploring all the instruments associated with that culture, associated with that world, and to give you a fun listening experience. And it's a little bit of a producer jerk-off session with what I could fit into each song. Take a break and play some Warzone. There's only one game I'm going to be playing, and that's Final Fantasy VII. It comes out tomorrow. If you're in Australia, you already got it. And if you're not playing it, I just don't know what you're doing.
Sure you can't play them some unreleased?
All right. Yeah. Okay, what do you think I should play?
I don't know.
What's a fun one?
There's so much. I can't.
Play your favorite, but can you give that one away?
Yeah, you can't.
Can't?
I don't know. There's so much.
These are all random names. Don't get attached to these names. I can play them De La Noche. It's kind of fun. Or is that one kind of too random?
I don't know. There's just so much.
This one's fun. Why don't I play this one? This is not perfect yet, but... That one's fun. That one's fun for sure. let's see. I guess what I'm in it now. I'll play 3, okay? Maybe Indian Mariachi is kind of fun one.
Dude, I like
The
them all.
Tom.
What do you think?
Um,
Electric Hope is crazy.
yeah, this one's kind of fun. So that's one. That one's fun. Some more line across the field type of vibe. This one. Yeah, so that's another one. Should I play him Little Electric Hope?
Oh, shit. I don't know. It's on you. Maybe.
Man, I don't know. I love that one. I don't know. Maybe that's enough, huh?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's
A lot more.
all right, guys. Here, listen. Trevor had some things he wanted me to cover, and I just got a text that 550 people have already downloaded the trial. How amazing is that?
Sick.
Dude, 550 of you guys are already trying it out. Guys, if you're just tuning in, it's available right now on Splice. You can pick up the trial of this new plugin that I made with, of course, in collaboration with Splice and with the amazing developers at What About Production. And it's out right now, and you can get it for free. Start your trial, and if you like it, then it's just $5 a month. And you know, if you hate it, you don't have to use it. It doesn't cost you barely anything but a cup of coffee. So explain the plugin, explain where you can get it. Sorry, I can be bad at staying on the topic. So plugin walkthrough in a DAW, we did that. Features, we did that. And then answer questions. So I'll just answer you guys' questions if you have production related questions. Everybody, yeah, go get the plugin, basically. Will you drop tutorials using your plugin? Yeah, definitely. I shot a lot of videos with Splice that might be available now on their YouTube. Yeah, I think a longer one showing me using it is on their YouTube, but we shot quite a lot. Is there a storytelling element to the new EP? You know, I that story in The Lion Across the Field was a really special story for me, and I wouldn't want to force it. So at the moment, no, but maybe. Would you use this on a sub bass channel? For sub bass, you could use it. I would be careful about. I think you could, of course, use the side cut, but you might just want to do that in the synthesis if you can, to reduce the number of voices, to reduce any chorus, anything like that. You could do some saturation. I think that multiband compression is a very sensitive effect to use on bass in general. So be careful with the pressure knob, and just be careful adding too many effects to sub. Sub should generally be clean. What are my luffs that I aim to hit? I've been focused on more dynamics for this EP, although I'm not really mastering any of it yet. That we're not there yet, but I would this time around. I think I'll be focused on more dynamics, and you know, in general, I think that nobody listens to music that we do when we're producing, which is comparing right next to each other some song that's out with our own song. People listen to your song as a completely new thing, and the loud sections will feel loud relative to the other sections in your song. So to have a dynamic song with peaks and valleys is how you accomplish making your priority loud sections feel loud. It's really in the decisions that you make elsewhere to create a frame of reference for the listener. You can cut off all of the very high frequencies, and still when you introduce a hi-hat or white noise that doesn't hit the super high frequencies, it will feel like an evolution in the song. No one is comparing it to someone else's song that maybe hits higher frequencies than yours. Everything that you introduce and that evolves in your song is all relative to what came before it in your song. So I think you create the rule book in your song from the beginning, and how you grow from there and introduce new things is all relative to the rules that you've created. If you want to never have frequencies beyond a certain point, in most cases that won't make things seem more dull. You can make that a rule and still have sections that feel really big and get open and do get brighter. So with LUFS, I just don't think you need to focus on having the level of loudness that other songs have. I think there's I think at negative 10, or, you know, I'm honestly not super familiar, but you could have a lot of dynamics. How do you make a song that sounds flat have more dynamic range? You know, a guy named Luca, oh, I always get his last name wrong, but Reed Stefan, who's a good friend, did an interview with Luca going over his mix of Mi Gente, the J Balvin song with that guy, I forget his name, but he showed that one way to do expansion to create more dynamics is simply using transient design. So he pulled up a Neutron, I think it was, and on the drums, he, I believe he turned the overall volume down, and then he did transient design, which when you think about it, just simply creates more dynamics. Pretolesi. Yeah, Luca's really an incredible mixer. And actually, the inspiration for the details parameter in the plugin came from Luca watching him mix and seeing that he would slam the signal of, I think, some drums, maybe a drum stem. He would slam it through an analog compressor or limiter, and then he would bring that back in and feed it in. So you would get all of these little details, little shakers and percussions that weren't noticeable in the stem when he got it. So I thought that was such a cool trick, and it's like upwards compression. That's what we use for details, and that's just really effective and beautiful for bringing out details. Reed Stefan, the GOAT. Reed Stefan is awesome. He does tutorials with a puppet, and he's the realest puppet in the game, and it's just really fun to watch. And really filled with great information. Also, it's not it's a gimmick, but it's a gimmick with substance once you start watching them. Hey, Kashmir, do you have any tips on how to make distortion sound more analog? I don't want too much digital distortion on my guitar signal. I find that guitar rig is the most reliable for me when I'm distorting guitar. I like guitar rig. Amplitude I started using, but I'm just not a big fan of how you have to piecemeal together all the different amps, and you buy them all separately, and they have this whole marketplace for it. I just was a bit turned off by that. But AR Rahman collab. I did do a remix of a U2 song that he produced, and I also was ready to do some work on this movie that he had made, but he really moves at his own pace, and I'm just waiting to hear what happens next with it. So that's where we're at with that. I will say AR had this incredible keyboard that had no keys raised. If you could imagine a keyboard printed on flat felt like you would see at a poker table, right? It was a keyboard printed so that he could move his finger along between any note that he liked. So no keys were raised. It was all printed on a flat surface. And so he was without any frets, so to speak, without any quantizing of the pitch. He was took a violin patch and was playing it beautifully, sliding between these notes, even doing harmonies with two fingers. And the harmonies would slide between notes. And with his left hand, he was controlling a string section. So he had a lead violin soloing, just this beautiful, bending up and down, so emotional and expressive, and then playing the chords with his left hand. And he had really mastered it. And he's really just a master if I've ever seen one in his craft. Is it the Seaboard? Yeah. The Seaboard is not the Rolly one. He had a little bit more primitive. The Rolly one now is I think a much more advanced version. And the Rolly one, I met with Rolly, and he showed me the whole prototype and everything, and it's really lovely how it would introduce a new form of MIDI file that has pitch bend modulation for each individual note, which seems like, I don't want to say a headache, but it seems like a lot to consider. But he's got a beautiful system that coexists with it, that makes it simple for you. A program that coexists with it. What is your track's mastering chain? To be honest, I send my tracks out for the final mix and master by this really talented mixer and producer named Bob Sandevy, and he's in Holland, and he's the only guy I've really trusted with my final mixes and masters. I'll send him my stems. I feel like they're pretty close. They're just about there. But I know that he's in a treated studio, whereas I'm just in my bedroom. So, yes, there is a choir vocal on the Ahimsa remix, and that was provided by my friend, and I want to give him proper credit. Bhavya in India recorded a choir to help me out with that song, and he asked for nothing in return, and he's been really helpful in other songs also, in helping get a small choir together. So just respect to Bhavya, and I've come to have a lot of really talented friends that help me out. Marnik, they helped me out on song. There have been a lot of times where I just couldn't get the drop right, and Marnik would help me with leads and synths. And honestly, I can't tell you how important it is to forget about your ego and to ask for help. I've gotten stuck on songs that took me a year to finish, and one and the breakthrough, like on Wildcard, was asking Ralph from the Bassjackers to help me do the bass on it. So really getting help from other people, I don't think you should ever feel weird about that. I think you should always get help and help your friends also. And it should be mutual. Do you use Cable Guy's volume shaper or Live's compressor? I use them both. I also use LFO Tool. I will say that in my projects, there are certain effects that introduce latency and trip up clock-sensitive effects, like Volume Shaper and LFO Tool. And in that case, I have to use MIDI to make sure that it doesn't get off time. And right here is an example where you can see that I've done that. This sub. Do we see the screen? Sorry, thanks. Here's one example of the sub having a volume shaper, and to make sure that it always stays on time, I have this MIDI that's triggering at every quarter note, being sent to the subgroup and being sent to Volume Shaper. And within Volume Shaper, I say MIDI triggered. And that just ensures that the timing is always precisely on the quarter note. When you handle a new project / template, do you prefer to balance everything directly around -6 dB or peak the meter with a limiter, then turn the gain down? I don't really see any problem with peaking and then turning it down on the master bus chain. I've heard someone tell me that can be problematic. I've never experienced that myself. This is a very bad habit. I have OTT on the master. I do that to get a quick reference, and that is generally a bad idea. A guy that I used to work with named Dr. Luke from my days working in pop music, he called me and we had this long talk about how he's using Ableton now and how he loves the OTT and he used it on everything, and he actually came up with a system for adding the OTT in parallel but not introducing phase. And it's a pretty simple trick. He just has a rack with, here I'll apply it to something that makes sense. He adds the OTT as you're familiar with it if you use Ableton. It looks something like that. And he adds another OTT or multiband compressor, and he takes away any effect. So he's got the ratios are all at 1:1, and he's not really compressing anything. But just by having it on, I guess there is the same phase now as the OTT has. The bands are set to the same, so the crossover point is the same. And so whatever phase was introduced by the OTT is equal in the dry signal. So when you combine them, they will at least not phase with each other. So that is, I guess, a more reliable way to do dry-wet. Someone made a phase-correct OTT. Is that? I think that's what I'm talking about, yeah. Unless you have a different one. Data Life actually told me that the best way to do it, to get a phase-free splitting of the bands, is to use the Ozone Imager and to solo the different bands in the Imager, and to then create a rack that has them all soloed. So if you could imagine what that looks like, it's something like this. Here, kill one of the bands. We've got 3 bands now. We say solo that guy. We group it. We duplicate it. I always lose track of which one I'm on. We now solo this one. And I'll just do 2, so you don't have to sit here and watch it. We'll say low band, mid band. And now, according to the Data Life, this is the cleanest way to split the bands. And now if you do compression on the mid band and the low band separately, you'll have effectively a multi-band compressor, and the band crossover phasing issue is going to be better than OTT. The KSHMR collaboration with Sam Felt. Any guitar plugins I recommend? Don't get me started on guitar plugins. I fucking love guitar plugins. Let's see what I got. I absolutely can recommend some. Yeah, I'll start a new project. This one's already slow, isn't it? Go-to vocoder plugin is definitely going to be Vocal Synth. And I could show you one track that I used me singing into a vocoder. And that is MIDI being sent into that's MIDI being sent into Vocal Synth. But if there are, oh wow, someone sent this OTT thing. That's awesome. Okay, I'll look into that. Also, if you want linear phase multiband, Melda does it. They make great plugins, and Waves does it with LinMB. LinMB is a linear phase, and FabFilter MB has a linear phase setting. So here, guitar. One very overlooked library is this Grindhouse library. That's really cool. It has a lot of old sounding patches. So that one just sounds really awesome. They have a lot of old sounding so they have a lot of just cool. It sounds like it comes from an old movie. But if you want more sophisticated, my favorite is Renaissance. I've used it on so much. Right? So I love that one, and it has a hammer-on that you could hear. And you get all kinds of customizability. You can set the length of the hammer-on. That's much quicker. And you can set the key. So if you are in D minor, you don't want the C to hammer on up from a B. You want it to go from the B flat, because that will be in key. So it is hammering on from the correct key. And it just sounds beautiful. Just sounds really beautiful. I love this one. Another one, if you want a more country kind of sounding thing, is this resonator made by the same guys. Oh, did I do the wrong one? Oh, yeah, resonator, sorry. Resonator can't be found. Sure it can. There we go. No, I just have a big nose. Someone asked if these glasses came with the nose. And then for electric, Shreddage makes really great stuff, and they have great customizability. on it for each one. So it doesn't sound like much right from the initial, but let's see. Yeah, so that's another great one, shreddage. And the list could go on, but these are my favorites of the moment. Yeah, so yeah, I think those are really good as far as guitars go. Anything else about Contact? I love Contact, and I love finding new Contact things, so I'm really happy to geek out about that. Should I keep talking? I should probably keep talking about the plugin, right? What does the plugin do on these Contact instruments? We've been at it for quite some time now. When did we start? 2? Okay. I don't know. Should I be a good marketing person and just keep going back to the plugin and talk about how great the plugin is? Well, you can see how this could work on even a guitar. Yeah, if we put it on a more reasonable sounding guitar like Renaissance. Or you guys ask me questions. I don't want to just riff off here. No, it's not a guitar plugin. My plugin's not a guitar plugin. More music, please. I have the Balkan Ethnic Orchestra. This guy tried to out-contact me. You can't do that. You can't out-contact the contact master. Here, a beautiful duduk. Duduk is a sound that really just puts you. That one's nice, but to be honest, the duduk I really love from Ethno World. So fucking expressive. I love sounds that just put you in a certain world right away, you know. Yeah, that one's so expressive, and the vibrato is quite nice on that one. How to make violins like Pade does. You know, I think Pade probably recorded a real violin, and of course there's no real emulation of no real perfect emulation, but Taylor Davis, she made one that's just like the Tina Guo cello, made by the same people. And with the really nice ones at a lower velocity, you'll get really nice portamento, or like a gliss up to the note. So Emotional Cello does that quite well. So that's got a really nice bend to it, right? That bend is really beautiful. And so at lower velocities, you do control it. Il Padrino, yeah, that's right. Have you showed your plug-in on vocals yet? Yeah, I did, but we could do it again. I don't really mind. So yeah, you could see here. I could just record that in real quick. Damn, I fucked up with it. So there we go, and see what this can do on it. So it makes it a bit thicker and a bit brighter. If there's anything else you guys would want to see on the plug, so what does your plugin do? I haven't been here too long. Okay, so this is where I should be a better marketer and keep talking about the plugin. So which one should I do? We got synth, we got drums, we got kick, we got bass. I can go through one of them again. Good night. Oh, it's 4:30. Oh yeah, Sojao, go to sleep. I hope. I think synths. All the biggest hits were created in a day. Yeah, the Beatles used to say that they would just spend a few hours on a song, and if it didn't come then they would sort of drop it for the time being. And that, I get that. A lot of the most important aspects of a song are certainly created right there in the beginning. And the more that you think about it, the more likely it is that you're overthinking, and it just wasn't great to begin with, So here's, just to bring it back again, here's how this plugin, KSHMR Essentials, works on synths. Here we go. As you can see here, we have body, presence. These are some EQ things. This is a saturator here with Excite. Details brings in this parallel signal that's really slammed by a compressor and a limiter that when you turn it up and introduce this slam signal, all of the elements that were quiet before, like the reverb, will be made to be louder. And as we turn it up, you can hear the difference. So that was a really extreme setting, but... Oh, I turned the volume up, sorry. So there you have it. It does some expansion, some width. It takes basically all the processing that I use most commonly on kick, on drums, on bass, and it puts it in one place for you. That's the whole idea, to save you from creating a chain that would take, up to 10 plugins, up to 10 plugins, I would say, and just use one. And of course, you don't get all of the customizability that those other plugins give you. But because of how often I found myself going towards the same settings on plugins, I thought it could be reduced to one knob, and for getting things to sound pretty good quickly, that would be effective and useful. And that's this plugin was born out of that idea. Why is it so much easier to write songs in the shower? You got a nice little reverb in the shower, and there's nothing to do in the shower but think, and you're comfortable and you feel undistracted, I guess. But I've definitely written songs in the shower, and that's very true. Well, I do a DJ set. Yeah, I'm gonna do a DJ set. So let's see. So we saw synths. Oh, I'm at 0. Sorry. So that's a very extreme setting. That's more like something you want as opposed to the dry signal before the plugin. Now after. You can get some really extreme results out of it, which at high levels I think is good. And let's see here. Drums. Somebody said drums, so I'll cover that, and then maybe. Oh, did I? I think I made the drums last time. Isn't that right? Yeah, I made the damn drums. You don't want to sit here and watch me make some drums. Okay. Let me see if I have some drums already. Yeah, give me one sec. Let's go with that, and new comp, and right here, break. I also have a habit or a strategy, I guess, of splitting up my projects into multiple projects, usually the break and the drop, so that I don't have too much going on at once, and I can focus on less things, and therefore my brain is able to be a little bit more creative and a little bit less juggling. With a complicated project, my brain is sort of juggling everything that's going on and trying to make sense of it. So here's a nice little drum group. How do you determine if something is too wide? I think, oh, that guy posted the link. Thank you for doing that. I'm not logged in, so I don't know if I can just post a link like that, but I gotta log. I don't know if I even have a Twitch account. But with wide and in the middle, you just want to have a balance. You want to be thinking. Oftentimes, it can be helpful if you have multiple melodies going on at the same time, like a counter melody and a main melody, or if you have pads or something. You know, pads might be really wide, but the melody that you want the user, listener to focus on is a bit more in the middle. So you have some central idea that is more in the middle, just like a singer in a band would be right in front of you. But over here you have some keys, and over here you have some drums. Or maybe you have backup singers and they're spread. But the main singer, the main idea is just about right in front of you. That can be helpful in prioritizing to create one central idea and then pads and details that are all over the sides to make it an interesting wide mix. So here's some drums. They sound okay. And they don't have any processing yet. And we have hi-hats, and I'll turn him down a little bit, and I'm going to take out this crash. So you have a more simple loop that repeats, and now we apply to the whole group of drums KSHMR Essentials, and we select the drum tab. Already with air, we're getting a lot more of the clap. Transient. You can see by the waveform. And I love seeing a waveform. It sort of confirms to me what I'm hearing, and when what I see and what I hear are in alignment, my brain has an easier time. So adding transient, that's off, that's on. And now details will bring up some of the lower volume elements. So that's with details. That's without. So as you can hear, the reverb has come out, and smaller percussion has come out. You can even look at the waveform. You see how the offbeat hi-hat has now increased in volume? As you turn it up. To be honest, I would probably keep my kick in a separate chain, not being processed the same as all the drums. Kick is very sensitive. You don't want to do anything that could take away from the bass of your kick, the meat of your kick. So generally, as a disclaimer, I'd probably keep the kick separate, and that's why there is a separate tab for kick in the plugin. We can add width. And now as we put the mix down, turn it back up. And maybe the auto gain is reducing too much. We could turn off the auto gain to see what it sounds like. So you can see what a difference that makes on drums, making them sound brighter and the whole thing just feel a little bit more alive and pumping. Umet has a new plugin, yeah, absolutely, but it's a Windows only. It's really, I'm a Mac guy, so that was heartbreaking. After using the plugin when it gets louder, should I reduce the volume in the plugin or reduce it manually on the sound? You should definitely reduce it within the plugin. That is a little thing called gain staging to make sure that the volume going in something is the same as coming out. That will save you from problems later in your chain. If you have the volume being adjusted by every plugin or being increased by every plugin, it is really hard to make apples to apples comparisons if you like the effect of that plugin. It's also going to have a detrimental effect on, let's say, a compressor if you have it afterwards. If your volume going into that compressor now is much louder, it's just going to change the way the compressor works. It's going to compress more. So the same setting that you had before all of a sudden doesn't work now because you allowed a plugin before it to increase the volume so much. So that is a lot of processing, but it shows you how big it can make things. No, but by the way, guys, my plugin, just in case you got confused, is definitely for Mac and for PC. No shade at Umet, but yeah, ours is Mac and PC. I'm turning up the wide knob on a bass. Will it still keep the sub in mono? So yeah, so on the bass parameter, the bass tab, I'd have to pull up a bass. Let me see if I can find one real quick. Yeah, I'll just make one. Why not? I like this bass, so we tried to copy the olive the best that we could. So, okay, just so that was really off time. Sorry, guys, but we'll fix it. Everybody loves this bass line, I think. I said 16th notes. Right? So now this, I believe, unless my ears are playing tricks on me, that this does have some stereo to it. And when you add the width, it is going to focus on the mid and higher frequencies and not the sub frequencies, so you don't have to worry about that. And in fact, it is not creating any new signal, so it is only going to add width to things that are already wide. It, for instance, could not take a completely mono sound and make it wider. So that is mono, and then wider, and we can set the side cut to be, 150 or something. So anything in the low frequencies that is on the sides will just be cut by this useful knob. And that's a way that you can make sure that you don't have any wide frequencies, wide information in the sub. Okay, so let's turn it off. That is making the sub a bit louder. I don't know if you can hear it. I can just barely hear it in my headphones. These are all the bass parameters. You got harmonics. Gets really mean when you add fuzz. Pressure is multiband compression. Exciter is saturation. If we turn down, probably too much distortion and stuff, but you guys get the idea. This is what it's capable of. And if you wanted a completely mono signal, you can choose to only output the left side or the right side. Or you can select mono. And mono is going to play you what currently is in the middle. And that is a distinction from the left and right. The left and the right side are obviously two separate channels. And you are soloing the left or the right. But the mono shows you only what is not different about the left and the right. And the sides show you only what is different. So it is showing you basically, yeah, the differential is really the only way to say it. And mono is what is the information that is shared identically going to the left and the right speaker. But the left says, well, forget about that. I'll just take the left side. Because the stereo original signal maybe sounds good. Because the left sounded good on its own and the right sounded good on its own. And so you just take one side. And in my opinion, well, I think almost objectively, that is cleaner than this. Just taking mono sounds a bit phasey. But taking the left sounds much more clean. That's a bit phasey. This is clean. So that's why I put those buttons in there. I find them super useful. Do you usually add lower harmonics to a vocal? I do sometimes add harmonics to a vocal. I like Decapitator a lot. There's some other good ones. NS1 by Way, I think that's what it's called. But, you know, we do not have harmonics or saturation as a setting on the vocal tab. However, you can absolutely take it from the synths tab, the bass tab, or the drum tab. And it'll work just fine. This is available only on Splice, yeah. It is. It's out now, and you can get a trial right now for free. So you can try it for 3 days for free, and after that, it's only $4.99 a month until you buy it. So the whole thing eventually costs you $100, but you only have to do $4.99 a month. And if you decide at any time that you're not into it, then you can stop paying for it, and no problem. So you've only spent 2 months, spent $10. it's a pretty good deal for how much power you get and how this combines really so many plugins that on their own would cost a lot of money. Would you add this on a kick to help keep it to clash from the 808? There's basically two ways to do that. You can EQ a kick so that it doesn't have sub really, and then the kick and the 808 can play over one another. Or you can sidechain, or you can just say fuck it. In hip hop, I've seen people just play a kick with bass with sub over 808 that has sub, and just say fuck it. I feel like I'm gonna start repeating myself if I keep going, guys. You feel like this has been a substantial stream, I think, right? Hopefully you're satisfied. And hopefully, I've convinced you that the plugin is at least worth the download of a free trial. Morgan Page is in the building. What's up, Morgan Page? Celebrity DJs have come to check it out. Fuck it, like a G6 808. Yeah, that was the distortion from Propeller had a Reason. I used to use Reason. So guys, yeah, please do go check out the plugin and download it for free. And decide for yourself if you want to keep using it. And if you have any other questions, I'd love to do streams like this in the future. I love talking about production. So I'm here for you, and I love you guys, and good luck with all the music that you're making. And shout out to all the countries, to India and South America and Europe. As a continent, I do know that it's a continent. Yeah, I hope I haven't missed anyone. I love you guys. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Stay safe in this whole quarantine. Hi to Poland. Hi to the USA, of course. That's where I am. The Bay says hello. Man, I love the Bay. Can't wait to be back in the Bay once we can fly again, travel again. America. Okay, on that note, I love you guys. Go check out the plugin. Thanks so much to Splice. I've always been there for me, and they're just a wonderful organization and such a helpful organization. And thank you to What About Production for developing this plugin with me. You guys made a dream come true. I love you guys. I'll catch you next time. I'll see you. Bye.